Okay. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Scaling CAS 2.0 from compliance to strategic advisory. My name is Tal Ben Bassat. I'm the CFO and COO of Anchor, and I'm incredibly excited to be here with you today. And even more excited to be doing this session along with my dear friend, Deborah and Tal, a true leader in the CAS world.
Hey, I am so happy to be here today, Tal. Thank you so much for inviting me to share some time with you and the audience and to talk about CAS. We're out there kicking CAS, so I'm excited to spend the time with you.
And thank you very much. And yeah, we wanted to speak today about what it means to kind of scale your business to the what we call CAS 2.0. So with that, let's dive in. So when you think about CAS, it's a growing area in all firms, and it's like everybody's trying to go there. Everybody's trying to provide those services. It's always important to start with a definition of what actually CAS means. And it's everything from your bookkeeping services, doing your account receivables, accounts payable, payroll, all the way to provide those more high value services like controllership and CFO services, technology integration. All those services can add a kind of an exponential value to our clients, the clients of accounting firms. It's kind of shifting the role of the accounting firm and the accountant from being reactive, doing those taxes and audits and returns and so on, to being proactive, to be a real financial and a business advisor to our clients.
You know, we've gotten to this point, right? First of all, I don't like the word bookkeeping, right? I like to call bookkeeping pre-accounting. I like to get the
Oh,
data into the system so that you can actually do the accounting. So pre-accounting. But this is a great slide, right? What is keeping, our clients up at night? What's keeping them awake, right? And so they don't want numbers. They certainly do not want a balance sheet and a P&L and a cash flow. They look at that paper and they don't understand it, right? They didn't go to school to be an accountant. And it's funny, I had a trucking company that I serviced years ago, and the owner of the company was a truck driver, and he used to tell me when I would hand him his financials that he used that as toilet paper. He'd be like, "It's rough, but it's free." So he didn't appreciate those pieces of paper and that compliance side of it. He wanted to talk. He wanted to know what was happening with his business. He wanted my advice behind those numbers. So our profession's changing. We're evolving, and it's super exciting.
and it's a great point that they need us to take care of their financials and to give them the advice that will allow them to grow their business, right? And the advice is not about, oh,
Yeah.
I'm going to do your books. The advice about, hey, I know everything going on in your business actually financially. I know how much you spend, how much I know your targets. Let's see how I can help you to achieve your goals by spending the right way in the right places. So in a way, I think thinking ourselves as kind of an internal financial figure, not just an external outsource. How would I react if I would have been inside this client's business, and how could I help them if I would be part of the team?
You know, I say the same thing, Tal. Like, it's really important as the accountant to get our house in order so that we can help our clients get their house in order,
Yeah.
right? So drink your own champagne. And you are spot on. These folks, they need to be working on the business and not in the business, right? And I even tell my CAS leaders that I work with at these firms, you don't need to be in the weeds. That's what your team's there for. That's what technology's there for. That's what the processes are there for. You need to be working on the business. Let's look to where we're going to have business development and how to grow the business and be more profitable and be more strategic to really help these business owners. So take it to heart, right? Work on the business as a CAS leader and leading the 2.0 evolution, and then let the team and the technology work in the business.
And when we think about it, kind of we try to think about it internally, but also speaking, of accounting firms that we work with, and now you also work with a lot of accounting firms. Why CAS has to be evolved? And we kind of can see it in two different ways. One is the client side. So in many ways, the work is
Mm.
becoming a lot of automated and commoditized. So I always tell when I speak to people, I tell them, being a CPA myself, right, and I used to have a tax practice myself, unfortunately, a lot of aspects in accounting are commoditized. The reason people to choose who they're going to work with, so the reason your clients are choosing you is because they want to work with you, because they know they can trust you. You're the person that can help them solve their problems and help them grow their business, right?
It's so true. You listen, this type of work, when you talk about pre-accounting, too many times we're looking at this like it's a commodity, right? That's what people tend to do. We are not a used car lot. We're not here negotiating an hourly rate anymore. I really want to trademark this. You're going to love this. My tagline: click less, advise more. Right? We don't want to be, we want the technology to be getting the information into the system, leveraging AI. Let's get these things automated so that we're not doing so much manual lift and storing paper and things like that, right? We want to have it automated. We want to be able to surface data so that we can be proactive. So if a client is going to have a shortfall in payroll next week, we know about it this week, right?
Yeah.
Not after the fact when everybody's paychecks bounce back.
Right. And that's kind of a shift in a way in the mindset from I'm just going to be a supplier of reports versus I'm going to help you to give you the good advice you really need. By the way, this is what ends up getting you those premiums that everybody's looking for. Or accountants say we want to go to do CAS because it's paid more, but to get paid more, you need to drive the value, and you have that. Everybody has those capabilities, but just about the mindset about that. And clients search for answers, and they need someone to be the business partner. And this is us. These are accounting firm. This is what we do, right? We are those business partners.
It is all about building that relationship, right? I remember I said to my twin, I said to her one time, I said, listen, would you invite your accountant to your kid's wedding? And she said, no, I mean, I don't even know him that well. Well, then there's something missing there. You need a trusted advisor. You need somebody that is a friend, somebody that you would invite to a family wedding that really cares about where your business is going, that they have a concerted interest in you as the business owner.
Exactly. Exactly. And at the end of the day, this what builds the long-term relationship, just like you said, because at the end of the day, the relationship that accounting firms has with their clients is based on the trust. This is why accounting firms usually have very long-lasting relationships with their clients, right? It's amazing, but it's something you see a lot in the industry. It's because of the trust, because they know we're there for them, and there is a lot of now move and push to CAS and provide more of those services, and the clients expect for that. And it's super sticky, right? It's super sticky because the clients will become more dependent of you and will want to work with you much more. We want to consume more of your services because of this trust that they have.
Agreed.
Yeah, and we kind of say that this is a existential shift.
It's critical. It really is to have that trust factor baked in. When you look at this slide, we're talking about why CAS must evolve, right? And this is so spot on. It isn't optional, right? People that don't adopt the new way of providing these services to clients, and they're not adopting AI, right, to be able to really leverage the technology. AI is not going to replace us as humans. It's just not going to. But what it will do for us is be able to do more in less time, right? And so it's important to understand. I was reading in one of the recent articles, I think Accounting Today, on their top 100 firms, they were talking. Do you know that there's so much opportunity out there? Only about 10% of the revenue that's coming from advisory in our CAS practices. It should be 90%, right? And so we need to upskill our team. We need to give them tools in their toolbox so that they can be doing more of the advisory services. And it is absolutely hands down more predictable, higher margin revenue, and it creates these clients to be stickier for the organization, for sure.
Okay, so we've been speaking about CAS, and we said it was CAS 1.0. So what is CAS 2.0? And when you think about it, we thought about framing this way. If compliance is the checkbox, strategic advisor is your signature.
Yeah. So when we talk about, right, going from CAS 1.0 to 2.0, we're delivering relevance. We are delivering a direction for these clients, right? And so we're moving away from this compliance focus. We don't want to be reactive. We understand that there's historical data. It's, just to produce a financial report, we're just a vendor, but we want to be more than that, right? At the end of the day, we want to be a necessity to the client to help them build what we believe can be an extremely successful business.
And it's the dream, right? Any person that ever started a business started because they had a dream. It doesn't matter if you're an accountant or if you have a shop or anything like that. You wanted to do something. That was your kind of inspiration, passion. And we have the privilege as accountants to help our clients, not just to survive, right, to keep the business alive, but actually to have to grow it. And it's an amazing privilege because, as we know, 90% of the businesses, they fail because of cash flow. It actually puts us in the position that, in a way, we can be our clients' heroes. We can help them to achieve their goals.
Absolutely. Well, and the thing is that accountants typically, we went into business as an accountant because we like to serve people. We want to take care of people. It's a service-based business, right? So I get a great deal of gratification out of seeing businesses be successful. It's a partnership, a relationship.
I agree so much. And when you think about the CAS 2.0, so it's about business decision focus, about being proactive, the future-facing guidance, strategic partner.
That's correct. Well, that's the shift, right? That's moving from 1 to 2. We're doing compliance faster. We're letting the tech come in, do the pre-accounting, and it's a different way of thinking. We are that partner, strategic partner for the client, and we are giving them guidance, and we need to be confident in what we're telling them. And we can get so much information from the data if we just are proactive about it and look at the trends.
And I love it. I love the name you call it. I'm thinking about it again. You call it pre-accounting, and I think I get it. Because if I understand it correctly, what you're saying is that everything you do before you give the advice, the advisory, that's the things we can automate. These are the things we can maybe even more commoditized. But we are as the advisor, the financial advisors, when we take this data, we can kind of digest it in a different way and give the good advice to our client and drive the value with that. So this is going to be actually the accounting side, right? This is like will be the advice, the advisory, the controllership, the CFO services, like the more how you can actually improve your business.
Absolutely. It's more than just closing the books, right?
Yeah.
We're looking to the future.
Yeah. And we kind of thought about the 4 pillars of scaling to CAS 2.0.
Yep, absolutely. So when we think about the 4 pillars of CAS, we know from a business model perspective that we have to have packaging, pricing, tiers, levels. Some clients maybe don't need a full FP&A right out of the starting gate. They want to get comfortable with you. So having tiered services of packages is going to be really important. Having tech infrastructure, having that ideal technology. At Woodard, we have the 7 ideals that we've trademarked, right? And so the ideal tech is absolutely critical. You cannot be a jack of all trades and a mistress of none. You got to get that core technology stack in place so that, and you may add to it based on the industries you're focused on, but you got to have the core. You have to look at your workflows. There's some really good workflow tools out there right now that can be of huge benefit with true automation. One of the firms I'm working with saved hundreds of hours during busy season in January with tax 1099 processing by having a true workflow that was automated. And then we definitely have to have profitable pricing models, right? That goes back to the packaging. We're not doing hourly. We're not a commodity. We're not a used car lot. We need to make sure that I believe that our gross profit margin should be well over 60%. I'm not a big fan of looking at realization and profitability. I like to look at my gross profit margin on a given client and really know what those metrics are.
Exactly. And one of our clients actually also got to this decision. And in the past year, so after they started to use Anchor, so every person that has ever done taxes knows that your client is engaging with you for the, let's say they turn 40, for example. That's what they pay for. But then they have just one question for just 5 minutes, right? But it's no one is pricing that in. So that means that we actually eat the fees. So it's affecting our profitability, right? You talked about the 60%, very challenging in that way. And then he said, you know what? So again, he's using Anchor for that. I'm just going to add a kind of an optional service. Hey, if you want advice, you want my time, this is my price. You can choose and buy it now in advance, or if you want it later, this is the price. So now those that actually want to get the advice, which are actually a lot of clients, actually go on and buy them. And that's like a very marked up service. And those that don't know there is a price, so they don't bother him anymore.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny. I've said this is another one of my fun taglines, but tax and CAS do go together like peanut butter and jelly. They just need to stay on the right side of the bread because they really do
Yeah.
complement one another, right? It makes a great
Always.
sandwich, but you gotta have good, clean books to have an accurate tax
Yeah.
return, and it's the life cycle of the business.
So we want to kind of diving into one of those. So the package services, what do you think about that?
So I agree that it's not about hours. Please don't bill by the hour anymore. It's a bad idea. It's really easy for these clients to go down the street and compare hourly rates. That's not what we're providing. Outcomes that are scalable, and that we're bringing value to the table, right? And that we can make an impact. It's not just about the books being in order. It's about helping a business owner generate wealth for the company by looking at all of these various components, forecasting KPI indicators based on their industry, what their growth plan is, what a scenario looks like 3, 5, 10 years from now. So it's outcomes, not hours.
And tech infrastructure, that's like your sweet spot, right? Tell us about that.
So when we talk about the tech structure, right? Disconnected tools, manual processes. This is great analogy. Putting, you've got a crack in your foundation. If you do not have a standard technology stack with APIs, when the information is going between systems, it gets very frustrating for a client if it's not a smooth transition. What I like to say is we're going to build palaces and not Frankensteins. And
Yeah.
we want to make sure we're not just piecing or piecemealing and putting these things together that way. So
Yeah.
I think it's important to make sure that you don't have big gaps, that you pilot this technology, you get client input, you make sure it's a good client experience on both sides of the fence for your team and for the client.
Yeah.
Absolutely important. If you
Yeah.
don't have a standard tech stack, you will not be successful.
I want to add something on top of that. Our clients, so the clients of accounting firms, they see us as the financial advisors, as the experts in everything that is about finance and accounting. If they see that we're on top of everything, we have the best tech, we know how to deliver everything that is finance in the best way, they will see us, they will see you as you know, as a premium type of service provider. They will be willing to pay you the premium. If they will think that your house is not in order, things are messy, mistakes, duplications, a lot of manual work processes, they will perceive you the same way, just as it is,
Yep.
like, right? So it's a matter of really how you want your clients to perceive you.
Exactly. It's a matter of earning the credibility and
Yeah.
being that subject matter expert and having an incredibly great client journey.
Just like you said before, technology needs to reflect the strategy and not just about automation. And actually, the topic of automation really connects as well to to the entire area of workflows. Everybody and every software out there, everybody's automating stuff. And when we as accountants, and by the way, every business owner, every business, when they approach to implement tools, it's not just about thinking about what it automates, because automation can get you so much. It's really about what you can eliminate. And it's very important to think about it, because the tech at the end of the day is kind of our operating system as a financial advisors, right? This is what the thing that enable us to provide advice, right? Without that, we will not be able to provide good advice or enough advices compared to maybe other of our colleagues that use these technologies. So it'll be less less in the spotlight. And when think,
Well,
yeah,
it's what I said at the beginning, right? Click less, advise more, right?
yeah,
Let the technology get the stuff into the system, and it frees you up to do that advisory services.
I agree. And thinking about workflows, one of the things I always want to say, and I'm going to make it very short. Don't think just about how you automate the processes, how you automate the workflows. It's important. Think about elimination of workflows. You can have endless tools that can do endless tasks. It's going to be challenging because you have to connect between them manually.
Huh?
Think about how you can actually create areas that in every area you have a specific like bespoke solution out there, right? And then you will want to connect between them. So you'll have less tools, easy also for your team to manage, also for you, easy to connect them to kind of really create a streamlined workflow of information of data. And that really will help you to drive those insights also in a better and a quicker way.
Yes.
This is advisory.
Well, and I want to add a point to this
Yeah,
because folks sometimes get a little bit misunderstood when we talk about workflows. It is truly tasks that are
yeah,
automated. We can have an automated email go to the client asking for the bank statement. When that bank statement comes back into the portal, it's seamless for the client, and the task automatically closes itself and it moves to the
yeah.
next task. So you really want to make sure that you're laying those things out, and you know what needs to be performed and what can be eliminated from a manual
Yeah.
um, lift or effort to the system.
And that, just like you said, it's everything from the client onboarding to the milestones. Um, just think about the core of the workflows, really what you try to solve there.
Perfect.
And think about profitable pricing models. So with that, as we said before, and there's so much been spoken about it today, hourly billing is just not good for efficiency. All of us experience that. Value pricing, that's what really drives the result. Think about your margins. Think about the deliverables of your employees, and not just about the hour, the billable hour, the 30 minutes, the 15 minutes, and so on.
It's so true, and I like this because hourly billing does punish efficiency. You gotta look at it from a value. Clients don't get value out of hourly rates. There's
Yeah,
nothing there that is of benefit to them at all.
yeah. It can also get them to be very, do a, I don't know, really look into the nitty gritty of what your team has been doing for every 15, 30 minutes. That's not about thinking you drive value, just about, kind of really going into the details which are not really important.
Yep.
So the pricing should reflect the value, right?
Absolutely. It's not how much time it takes you. It's about how much better you are in helping their business, right? The better advisor.
And when you think about it, we always tell people the only constant is change. So everything changes all the time. I see people that tell you, oh, we do our clients on a monthly recurring basis. It never changes. Things change all the time, right? You need to be
It
able to do
helps
flexible.
until it helps a client when they know how much they have to pay every month. It helps with their cash flow. These are things that we're trying to advise them on. Why would we want to have fluctuation like this on a roller coaster in our pricing model when that isn't what we're trying to accomplish for the client? We're helping them with cash flow. Let's set the expectations. Then we know what extra cash can be spent on new fixed assets or a building or whatever they're projecting that they need to do.
I agree. I agree. And actually, as we said, the goal is to become a trusted advisor. That is the goal, and that will allow us to scale the services, to be more advisory, and also to make the premium you're looking to make for the services, which are super valuable. The services of accounting firms, super valuable. It's really helping businesses to survive and to succeed. And it's all about, being a trusted advisor.
Yep.
Um, not a vendor, not just someone they interact, we sit in the core of the business. We know exactly what's going on in the financials, in the most sensitive parts of the business. And that's something that, we need to understand, and we can tap into that and really give them the advice. That's all we say. Think that you're an employee of the business, in the business. You're the second kind of hand to that, the CEO, for example, and that will help you to kind of see how you're going to position yourself.
I love this. Technical accuracy, strategic guidance, emotional presence, all of those things together build trust. That is your trust model. Trusted advisors aren't just the ones who sent the best reports, they're the ones that gave the best advice. And so building this key trust model, I love this. I think that's a fantastic way to look at how we are going to be an advisor, a good advisor and a trusted advisor to our clients.
Yeah, I need to take that and really digest that and divide it, understand what it means and how you can drive it to your client. So now it's about admitting, right? Identifying those clients that need the support, and actually set up the goals and actually try to really think how you're gonna deliver that and test it to your clients and see the result you can drive. And don't just focus on what you're doing today, but try to understand where your client needs you the most. Because at the end of the day, I mean, you know, you're your client. You're the heroes of your clients. You can help them to survive, or you can help them to succeed and to excel and to make their dreams reality.
Agreed. Go out, pick 10 clients, pilot it on them, trust that you can make it happen, get feedback, get the interaction from your team and your clients. You can do it. I know you can.
Yeah, and then those firms that will actually do that, these are the firms that will be succeeding and probably will be the best ones and the growing ones in the future.
It's great. Go out and kick CAS.
Deb, thank you so much for your time today. It's been a pleasure speaking with you as always. We always find the time to chat and to chat more than what we expected even. So thank you very much for joining us.
Appreciate you having me, Tal. It's been fun.
Thank you, dear.